Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Today is February 27th, 2013, and this is the KNKL EMMA stream, day 29, where we learn to make comics together. We sit down, we gather in the dojo of Kienan and Lafferty, and we sit down and we make comics together. Today we're going to be jumping right back into page 1 of issue 2 of Emma. But before we get into that, we have something to look at, submitted by Alicia. She's the only one that has sent something in within the last few weeks, which is understandable because there hasn't really been anything new going on with Emma. But needless to say, this is very awesome. So thank you, Alicia. I can always count on you to basically. I'm probably just going to end up taking the colors that you've made for Nico because even though I've like lined and drawn the entire comic so far, like almost all of part 1, I still haven't actually sat down and figured out what colors I'm going to make Nico. So I might just end up stealing yours because they're awesome. All right, moving on. Let's go ahead and get right back into where we left off with our mysterious bikers approaching the house whereat Emma is brushing her teeth. And last episode, we were talking about background, midground, and foreground with our biker dudes, right? And now I'm just going to continue throwing in a few more details that I'd like to see in the final line work. And then we're going to go ahead and move on down to our nice landscape shot. I'll show you how I kind of lay down lines for such a panel. There's a lot of dead space over here. I'm going to have to figure something out with that. I'll figure something out. Or maybe I just want to redraw this thing. I don't know. Something needs to go there. I don't know what it is, though. I'll figure it out. I also kind of like the negative space, right? Because if you're ever in doubt of how to look more artistic, just use about 80% negative space and then jam your subject right down in the bottom left corner, and automatically you become artistic. Alrighty then. So let's go ahead and take care of what we were working on before. Got the background there. It's looking pretty good. Pretty good. Now, I think what I want to do is actually, let me grab the reference. Today, like I said, today I have some interesting things to talk about. Some very, very interesting things. Good things, good things. Okay, let's go here, and let's go to issue 1. I hope you guys had a good Tuesday and a good Wednesday. Today's been pretty nice for me. Went out, took care of some things. Some things, and yeah. Always feels good to get out and take care of some things. Alright, so this is my reference picture that we're going to be dealing with. I got one guy back here riding a quad, so I got to make sure I do that. And he's the guy with the flag on his thing, so we want to make sure we are consistent. We're going to be sure to do that. And then we got a Tron bike guy, which I'm thinking about drawing somewhere in there. Probably be more heavily obscured until I figure out if I actually want to have a Tron bike in the comic. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and go forward with this. Alright. So let's go ahead and draw Quad Man. Quad Man. And I'm just going to go ahead and flatten all these things and make a new layer. And this is where we'll draw Quad Man. Okay, so Quad Man is going to be going this way. He's going to basically have the handlebars here. Wheel there. I'm going to focus mostly on the outer silhouette, right? Because we're going to be viewing this. Always think about how big your audience is going to be viewing it from as you pick your nose. Okay? This helps. This helps with the thinking process. So this is about the size that you guys are going to be viewing it on the site. And so you want to make sure you don't put in too much detail because it's going to look kind of crowded. And it'll probably pull your attention to parts of the comic that you don't want people looking at. Or like parts of, you know what I mean. You don't want to draw too much attention to the quad guy, even though he's cool and he's riding a quad and he's got a cool flag on the back of his team. Still not sure if that's what you want to do. But we will make him lean back and cool looking like the rest of the dudes on there. And let's give him a good flag. Let's give him that good flag treatment. make it nice and big. Nice big flag treatment. But I hope you guys enjoyed yesterday's tutorial. That was a lot of fun for me. I actually had quite a bit of fun, and I'm glad I finally got to sit down and talk with you guys a little bit more about one of the subjects that I hold most dear in art, and that is flow. And got to kind of basically, it's funny because I said this before, as I teach you guys, I actually like record that information. That way, you know, it's almost like a video journal for myself that I can go back and look at later. And it's almost like I'm teaching myself along the way. And that is a good thing. It's a good thing to teach yourself things. Speaking of that, one of the things I want to talk to you guys about is lately I've been listening to a lot of Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn is an amazing public speaker. He's a motivational speaker, and I've talked about him. I think I talked about him yesterday as well. And he was alive back in the 80s. He's now since passed away. Bless his soul, Jim Rohn. But he had a lot of interesting things to say about life and, you know, starting your own business and all that kind of stuff. Stuff that is very applicable to myself, having quit my job and having the crazy notion that I'm going to start a business making comics. But one of the biggest things that he always talks about is writing stuff in your journal, getting a journal, getting a journal. And I guess it didn't really occur to me how important it was until one of his more recent talks, where he really, really drove the point home of getting a journal. And since I heard that, I decided to go out and actually get one. And so I prepared myself mentally. I was like, all right. Because I've written in journals before, but they kind of go off and on, and maybe this one might be off and on too. I hate to say that, but so far the experience has been much better, and I'll tell you why. But first, let me tell the story of how I went to go get it. So I went to Barnes & Noble, right? Went to Barnes & Noble to go pick up my journal. And it was interesting because I remember like Barnes & Noble just having this huge like assortment of journals that you can pick from. It's like some have lines to them, some are blank, and it's just all these different styles. But this time when I went, it seemed like all the journals were just like crammed into the corner. And it was still a fairly good like display, but it was nothing like it used to be. And I kind of felt bad. I was like, oh, not a lot of people are buying the journals and using them. Made me kind of sad. You know, I was included in those people. But I was like, don't worry, little journal. I'll give you love. And I got this little guy right here. See? Because another cool thing that Jim Rohn talked about was have your journal be in such a way that you can take it with you, right? You can take it with you. Oh, you can read my secret notes. Look at that. Oh, that might have actually been bad if you've been able to read that, but I don't think you'd be able to. Yeah, I like having it be kind of more small. That way I can put it in my bag. And because I got a man bag also that I tote around with me. Although I call it my adventure sack. It's not a man bag. It's not a purse. It's an adventure sack, okay? Get it right. And so I'm actually curious if you're actually able to read that journal page. If somebody recorded it or pauses it on YouTube. But whatever, it's all good. Not a big deal. So I got the journal, and one thing that I found that was very, very cool about it was dividing it into separate sections, right? Like here, I'll show you. Check it out. In fact, I'll make this on the bigger cam. So check it out. As you open it, it has like a little magnetic little thingy there. So it goes boop, like that. And it closes automatically. It keeps itself nice and organized. And what I did was I actually went through and separated, you know, the little spots with these little tab notes, right? So that's like, this is like life. And then this is, the green one is business, right? Oh. The green one with the dollar sign is business. And then the blue one is wisdom, right? It has like a little picture of like a swirly spirit type thing. I don't know, it's just my little icon. So I think what's really cool about making a journal like this and dividing it into 3 parts is, and also on top of that, having it be small enough that you can carry it around with you, is when you hear like little things or you have like ideas that you can use, you know, whether it's business, life, or spiritual stuff, you have a book right there to quickly kind of jot down that note. And I've actually been finding that it's making life a lot more enjoyable. Like I was already really, really enjoying life as it was, but I don't know, like, I've noticed this when I go back and look at old KNKL shows sometimes. Sometimes I'll rewatch the old ones because I like to see, how much I've improved with like my public speaking, and I'm always very, I'm usually pretty impressed with like, oh wow, I sometimes I think that, I haven't really improved that much, but I look at how I started, and I think I've really, really gotten a lot better along the way, and I've become like more engaging and more fun, and I really am having more fun on the shows. They're more, I don't know, I just feel more relaxed and comfortable, and I feel like things just more naturally flow now. So okay, there's Quad guy. There's Quad. This is turning less into, hey, watch me make the comic and or hear me talk about life. But I feel like there's a lot of good things to be shared, and I hope that I will pass this on down to you guys because this is one of the coolest things that I've been kind of getting into lately. A, reading and writing in your journal, or writing in your journal, and then B, reading. Reading is something I used to pride myself on not reading a lot of books. I don't know why I did that. Back in elementary school, I was like, I read one book, and it was Aliens Ate My Homework, and I was like proud of that. I don't know why. I just like being that different, I guess. I was a anti-reading hipster before that was even the thing to do. So reading is awesome, and writing in your journal is very, very cool because it allows you to, again, record experiences. And there's some interesting experiences that happened today. One of which I went to. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. This is gonna start delving deeply into some of my personal things. But I'm really excited to share this with you because I think that maybe some of you guys have gone through a similar experience, and hopefully it will maybe enlighten you. But regardless, I'm just going to talk about what happened today. And just yesterday, too. It's like a couple things that I wrote down in that journal where today I saw someone. I saw someone that I haven't seen in a long time. And it was a girl. It was a girl. And her name was Felicity. that is the coined anonymous girl name. And we are going to, yes, she's going to be named Felicity. And Felicity is a girl that I met basically randomly, just walking through, I think it was in the mall one day. And she was just this cute girl with her friend. And I somehow worked up the guts to like stop her in a store. I think she was like trying to apply to work there or something. And I just started like chatting her up. When her friend was right there, and I was like, this girl's cute, I'm just gonna talk to her. And I just got that feeling. You ever get that feeling that you just like want to go up and talk to somebody, but then you don't quite do it? Oh, and I haven't switched it back over here. Oh, yes. Okay, so now that the camera's back, this might not go on YouTube. I don't know. We'll have to see how I feel after this. If I divulge too much personal information, this might have to be a coin secret stream. In fact, I got a feeling it's going to be already. So I can really talk about some personal things here. But anyway, assuming I get the guts to put it on YouTube, we'll see. But anyway, this girl whose name was Felicity, I walked up and I started chatting her up with her friend right there in the middle of the store at the mall. And somehow I managed to convince her to give me her number. And she was just like one of the cutest girls I've ever seen in my life. Like I was just like, hello. And you ever just get that feeling, and this is what I was talking about. You get that feeling, you see somebody, and you just like, ooh, you just want to go up and talk to them, and you don't know exactly what it is. It's just like you want to, but you always like hold it back. You're like, no, that would be weird. No, they're with their friend. No, they're gonna attack me. They're gonna turn into giant werewolf monsters and bite my head off, and then tear me limb from limb, and then feed me to their little babies at home. That's what you think is gonna happen, right? But actually, most of the time, it doesn't. Or it hasn't happened to me yet, luckily. So I actually worked up the guts to go up and talk to this girl because I'm getting to the point in life where I'm starting to get tired of being afraid to talk to girls, right? And I'm starting to get tired of that. So at that point, right? So I talked to her, I somehow convinced her to give me her number, and then we go on a date. And it was really, really fun. I had a great time on the date. Except after it was over, okay, what are we going to move on to now? Simultaneously talking about dating life and drawing Tron Bike Man. Drawing the Tron bike silhouette. Okay, so anyway, as I was saying, we go on a date, we go bowling, and it was really, really fun. We had a great time bowling. I had a great time. And then afterwards, we went to, I think, Wood Ranch, which is like a local steakhouse, right? Because we wanted to just hang out a little bit more afterwards. And she brought her friend, and I brought my friend. It was like a little double date thing. It was all cute. You know, I felt like I just like nailed it. I was just like on it with my jokes, and I was like, yeah, I'm freaking funny. Yeah, telling jokes. You know, I was like laying it all out there. I was like just trying too hard to impress her, right? Trying too hard to impress her. And at the end of the night, I felt like I was just like on fire. I was like, this girl totally likes me, and it's like everything's fine. But you know, we say our goodbyes and everything, and then slowly but surely we stop texting. She stops texting me, and it slowly just kind of comes to full-on ignoring, right? She just wouldn't respond to anything. And so I just kind of let it be alone, or I let it alone for a little while. And I decided that I was just going to let it go, right? I was like, fine, whatever. I'm just going to let it go. And I was working at Riot at the time. I was just going to screw it. Let's go back to work. Forget about it. Even though I was just like, I really liked this girl. I thought she was very, very interesting. So anyway, today was the fateful day that I ran into her again. I ran into her while she was at work. And again, I was like, I just saw her and I pointed. I was like, you, come here. You, come here. Right? And so she comes over and I was like, we need to talk right now. We are talking right now. Right? And she's like in the middle of like moving something. She's working at like one of the local, actually I don't even want to give that away. Let's say she was Felicity was working at Walmart, right? And she was putting away some boxes. She's putting away some boxes or rearranging the V-necks and the shirt aisle, right? And she's supposed to be doing a good job, but I come along and I distract her and say, hey, stop putting away those V-necks. We're talking right now. So I basically kind of take her over, just kind of walk to a little spot where we're not going to bother anybody. And then I just kind of like lay it all out. I'm just like, so what happened? What did I do something? What, can you please enlighten me as to why you just started ignoring me? Like, what happened? I was like, yeah, I know I'm a little intense and kind of crazy sometimes, but I don't know, did I come on too strong, or like, what's the deal? And I was like, it doesn't even really have to be like, it doesn't even have to be a good reason. I just want something other than just plain out, flat out ignoring me, right? And then she said to me, and I think this was actually really, really awesome. And okay, I'm going to tell you what she said to me. She said, well, first of all, she apologized for, she was like, yeah, I'm sorry, I just like, I didn't know exactly how to handle it. I'm really kind of socially awkward sometimes, and I didn't know exactly how to say it, so I just kind of avoid confrontation, and I just ignored you. And I was like, oh, okay, well, at least you're honest, you know. I was like, okay, that's cool. It's like, no, it's not cool for me to do that. And I was like, all right, well, you know, whatever, it's fine. At least you understand at least how it made me feel. And so then I was like, so what's the deal? What happened? Why did we stop talking? What's the deal? And she just basically laid it out flat. She's like, I just didn't feel it. I just didn't like you. I just didn't like you. And at first I was like, you just didn't like me. And I was like, that's it? That's seriously it? Like, I was worrying this whole time that it was like something terribly wrong with me, or like she thought that I was crazy, or I was like way too forward, or I don't know, like I should have like held back or whatever. But all the time it was just like, it was almost bittersweet. It was like, you just didn't feel it. You just didn't like me. And I was like, wow, you know what? That's okay. That is more than okay. In fact, I like that. I like that because you know what? I don't like everybody. I don't like everybody, so everybody's not supposed to like me. You know, but I like the fact that, and then I thought about this more as I kind of, and I was like, wow, okay, wow, okay, that's it. Like, I got my closure, you know what I mean? Like, how, like, I try, you know me, trying to look on the positive side of everything all the time, and I'm like, wow, you know, not only am I lucky enough to be able to receive this kind of like at least closure, however blunt it is, I think it's good that it was blunt, you know, in a way. I mean, it was very, very sweetly blunt. But I like the fact that it was blunt because I probably would have missed it if it wasn't, if it was kind of like sugarcoated. And she's like, oh, it wasn't you, it was me. I was just like having all this stuff going on with my life and blah, blah, blah. And she, you know, she's trying to make it seem like, you know, she just, you know, try to blame it on something else. But instead she's saying she just didn't like me. It's like, dang, that's awesome. I was like, that's awesome. I love that. And it was so freeing to just accept that. And I loved it. So anyway, but needless to say, I mean, I wasn't like thrilled about it because I was like, well, you know, instead, you know, your natural reaction is like, well, why? Why don't you like me? You know? But, you know, it's like, I know how that is. I know how that is. And it's just like, you just don't have, you can't force feeling. You can't force people to feel a certain way. So I just decided to leave it alone. I was like, dang, nice. All right, now I can go on with my life. And it felt pretty dang good. So anyway, I just wanted to relay that story to you. In fact, that's like straight out of my journal. Ooh, how personal. How personal. Yeah, I hope that I mean, this is usually the place you come to talk about relationships and dating things. But yeah, I hope that maybe that, I don't know, kind of says something to you guys that, you know, you really got to think about that. You know, not everybody is going to like you. You know, and I think that it's good that you just kind of put yourself out there. Put yourself out there and try to find some awesome people because I'll tell you what, sometimes the coolest people show up where you least expect them to do, or to, right? You meet sometimes the coolest people you've ever met in your life when you're not really trying to find somebody, you know? And yeah, definitely. I've had experiences like that too. But I just liked that. It was this freeing, it was this freeing feeling. You know, it was very, very bittersweet. I loved it. I was like, wow, I can just like go on with my life now because you know, every now and then, you know, that was always just in the back of my mind. I was like, what the heck did I do? What the heck went wrong? You know, what? Why did that happen? So anyway, I mean, I still am kind of bummed, but again, it's just like sometimes it just doesn't work, and you just gotta let it go and get on with your life. Get on with your life. Get on with your bad self. So that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun seeing her again and talking to her again. And then, I don't know, it's just like, I know it sounds funny, but I just felt like I could finally let that go and just be like, wow, there was nothing wrong with me the whole time. I didn't do anything wrong. It was just, the chemistry wasn't there. It's just, that's it. It's a simple truth. So, anyway. And I understand that it's like not going to feel great in the beginning. But again, that's one of the awesome things about having a journal, writing it down. Writing it down so I can come back to that later on when I find the beautiful woman that will become my wife. And then I can be like, oh yeah, I remember that feeling. I remember the day that I learned that, you know, not everybody is going to like me. And that, you know, that's the way, you know, you got to have this awesome chemistry. You got to have this, you know, amazing chemistry that, you know, obviously wasn't being felt there. And I'll be able to look back on that and I will smile and be like, it's a good thing it didn't work out with her then. So, that's good. I like this guy because he's like Tron bike guy, but his legs are kind of hidden behind this. So that's good. That's kind of like a little bit of a double whammy there. And I usually try not to share dating life things. In fact, don't expect me to share many dating things with you. Because, yeah, I just don't. I don't know. Unless you guys really like it. I can tell you other stories about other felicities at another date and time. But today we draw bikers. We draw manly men. Manly men. Manly men. This guy needs to get shrunk down. Uh-oh. I didn't put him on another layer. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you're about to learn the importance of why Keenan does that. Because if you don't, you got to go back in like this, painstakingly lasso the dang thing, and then copy, delete, paste it, realign it to where you want it, and then shrink it down. Yeah! Ha ha! Yes! In fact, I'm kind of scared to look over at the chat and see what you guys are saying about this stuff. Okay, hang on. I'm just going to finish this and then I'll take a look. Maybe we'll post this to YouTube. Maybe we'll post this to YouTube. Alrighty then. What are you guys saying here? Let's see here. Reading the chat, reading the chat, reading the chat, reading the chat. Sundancer saying he wants to hug me and give me some hot chocolate. Oh, that's so sweet. He also wants to hold a boom box outside of my window. You guys are awesome. Yeah, maybe I will do a Skype call after this. I think I will. It's been a while since I've done a Skype call, so I should probably do that after this. Alrighty. But yes, on the fence about uploading. On the fence about uploading. We'll see. I think the whole world can deal without hearing me talk about my dating issues, my dating life, and drawing Tron Bike Man. Actually, maybe they can't. Maybe they can't. Maybe the first reason, but not the second. Cannot live without watching me draw Tron Bike Man. Alright, so I like this a lot. I like it a lot. Alright, so I'm just going to draw a few more things back here, because they're supposed to be like dudes hauling like crates, you know what I mean? Like supplies and all that stuff. Oh, by the way, I got to tell you guys about another interesting story that happened today. When I got home, and I don't know if this was some kind of omen or something creepy, but I got back to my room, and there were just like bees on that wall. There was like 7 bees on that wall, and they weren't like really buzzing or anything. They were just like kind of crawling around, you know, and one was like buzzing against the window, you know, doing that thing. But I was just like, I hope that's a good omen, because I don't know how those bees got in here. I thought there was like a nest somewhere, so I kind of checked that whole area, and there was no nest. There was nothing. All of the bees were like tired. It looked like they had been there for like days, but like they weren't there in the morning that I noticed. I didn't hear anything buzzing around in the morning. So I gently tried to grab each of them into a cup and, you know, throw them outside, because I didn't want to kill them, obviously. You know, I could crunch them, but I always feel kind of bad. Like, you ever do that where you're like, you kill like a bug, or if it's a spider or something, that, you know, you don't feel bad for spiders. But if it's like a bee, like a little honeybee, or I don't know, sometimes I feel kind of bad. It's like, if I would have taken a little bit of extra time, or like a moth. The moth is like that weird middle ground. Like if it's a Venn diagram of like killable and unkillable, the moth is kind of like in that centerpiece. And you're like, what do you do with the moth? It's kind of ugly. It eats your clothes. It's kind of dusty. It flutters in your face. Freaks you out. But when you kill it, you feel kind of bad. You're like, oh, well, I probably could have taken a little extra time and maybe stuffed them in a cup or something, you know? So I felt kind of bad. So the bees, this time I made sure to do that, even though they look like they're about to die anyway. Maybe it would have been nicer to put them out of their misery. They were like, just like barely like moving. Seriously, they looked like they were like starving to death. So maybe I should have gone and given them some honey or something. I don't know. What do bees eat? Do they eat honey? They make honey, but do they eat it? That's their food source, right? Or is that all for the queen? No, that is the royal jelly. Only the queen partakes of the royal jelly. I don't think you're ready for this jelly. I don't think you're ready for this jelly. Alright, so anyway, there were just bees there. And I got them all into a cup. And I threw them outside. And yeah, that was like really weird. And then the creepiest part was I got them all out of my room. Got them all out of my room. You know, and then they were all gone. And I was sitting down and I was just like on the internet, like looking through some articles or something. And then I like was like touching my glasses, right? And then I felt something like on my glasses. And it was a bee. It was there. It was like just like crawling on my glasses. I don't know how it got there. Like it was like on my head for a while. Like where did it crawl from? Where did it come from? It freaked me out. So I just like smacked it onto the desk and it didn't try to fly away or anything. It was also very tired looking. So I was like, oh, sorry, little buddy. And I got him in a cup and chucked him outside too. So I don't know what that means. If any of you out there are like, know anything about omens, stuff like that, bees randomly appearing in your life, in your room, they seem to be budding out of your body. They seem to be producing themselves. You are materializing them into existence around you. Please tell me what that means, and I hope that it is a good thing. Maybe it means you got turned down by a girl you used to have a crush on. We shall see. We shall see. All right, so I'm feeling pretty good about this. We got our flags. We got our dust cloud. We got all that good stuff. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. That looks good. Good stuff. In fact, I want one, like just a couple more like little undistinguishable shapes back here, representing other people. You know, because this is supposed to be a big biker gang. So I want to make sure we got like a few more little shapes back there. That's like super background. Super background. All right. You guys are funny. It's obviously one of the biblical plagues. Bees. Yes. Yes. Bees. They're actually kind of cute, though, when they're not buzzing in your face, you know? They're kind of tired and about to die. Kind of cute. All right, so we've drawn the rather big biker gang. Now we're going to draw a super, super tiny ant biker gang with the flag coming up, dust cloud, and then the house. We're going to sketch that in. And we have about 20 minutes to do so. So that's plenty of time. Plenty o' time. Curious. I'm thinking back to everything that I've said today and trying to figure out if I want to upload this. I guess I can just review it later. But, yeah. I think I will upload this to YouTube. I think I will. I think I will. It'll be freeing. It'll feel good. It'll feel good. Just put it all out there. Put it all out there for the world to see. And if they don't like it, they just don't like it. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that now. All right, so what we're going to do for this house is, because it is in this perspective, let's go ahead and kind of draw the top section of it. And we're going to do a little bit of perspective cheating. Yay! I love cheating perspective. This is basically where you don't draw an exact vanishing point, but you make it look like you did. Make it look like you know what you're doing, which is a valuable skill to have as an artist. Very, very valuable. Okay, so what I want to do here is, let's just first think about the box that comprises this house, right? Still got the box that lies within this house, right? Brilliant! And am I drawing this right? For some reason, I feel like I'm drawing this house wrong. What does this house look like? Oh, I am drawing it wrong. Ha! Aha! This house has that type of roof. I'm drawing it wrong. That's my reference right there. I should probably concept these things instead of like concepting them as I'm drawing them. That'd be nice. All right, so this house actually does one of these things. One of these things. Ah, that looks much better. And then it comes on back. Come on back here. Break on through. Break on through. Break on through. Break on through. Oh yeah, but okay, going back to that thing one more time is ladies out there. And again, I feel like my experience was very, very like, I feel like it was good because not a lot of guys get to get that closure type of thing going on. But if any guy, if you walk up to a guy and you just kind of didn't have that chemistry for him, trust me, it's better to just be honest and say, I just didn't like you. I just didn't feel it. I just didn't like it. It's better than making excuses of like, oh, it's me, it's on me, blah, blah, blah. And you try to make them feel better and, you know, try to like lessen the tension. Just be brutally honest with them. Be like, hey, it's nothing that you did outright. It's just, it wasn't there for me. That's it. That's all you need to say. And I can't tell you, and the reason why I tell you to do that is because it's so freeing. It feels so good when someone is just that honest with you. It's almost just like, it hurts, but it's like respect. It's like a respectful punch to the nads. The most respectful punch to the nads you will ever receive in your life. It hurts, but at the same time you're like, that was good. That was good. That's the best way I can describe it. The most pleasing punch to the nads. Pleased as punch. That's how you will feel. You will feel pleased as punch. And that is okay. There's no reason. Sometimes there's just no reason. And what's funny is I've actually been on the other end of that spectrum. I have been the guy that has to tell the girl, and it's so, this is another reason why I kind of respected her, that she was that honest with me, is because I know how hard it is to be on that other end. You know, I've had a girl that was interested in me, and I just didn't have that chemistry with her either. I mean, she was sweet. There's no real reason exactly that I could pinpoint why I didn't want to be with her or, like, you know, even date her. Just didn't like her. Just didn't like her. Like that. I think it's probably better to say like you like that. Just don't go out and say I don't like you. Like you like that. I think that's a much better way to put it. And yeah, it's hard to be on that end because she unfortunately did not take it that well. She was like, "Was it because I'm not pretty enough? Is it because I'm not blah blah blah? Is it because I'm not?" Yeah, and she just totally started getting on the defensive and like throwing stuff in my face, and I was like, "Whoa! Just saying, I just don't like you like that. Relax. You know, I'm trying to be honest with you. Okay, just take it. Take the information. Care for it." Oh, and this is going to be the well, I'm just going to keep drawing and see if you guys know what's going on. I have broken hearts before, and I know how it feels. It's not the funnest thing to do. But it's better than acting like you like them and then slowly but surely getting into a relationship because you're like, well, maybe it'll work, you know? It's like if you're going to be with somebody, you got to know. You got to know that you're really, really into them, you know? You got to be ready to take the jump, you know? Exclusive relationship is a big thing, especially as you get older. So that's when people start looking into, oh, is this going to be a suitable host for my children? Or, no. That's what the guys start thinking. The girls start thinking, is this man going to protect my babies properly? Is he going to tase any crazy man that comes yelling at them? You better believe it, sister. I'll defend my children, any crazy man, with my taser, with my shaman fist weapon. All right, moving on. This is looking pretty good. Pretty good. This episode is going to be called Keenan Talks About Relationships. Keenan, the noob, talks about relationships. And gets excited when girls dump him. Or, no, what's the word? Reject him. Keenan talks about relationships and how to get excited when a woman rejects you. Bluntly rejects you. Takes it like a man. And he uses it. Because another thing that I noticed is after that happened, I was like, dang. I just like had this acceptance. I was like, yeah, that's okay. I'm okay. I'm okay just the way I am. People are going to like me. People are not going to like me. And that's just the way it is. And then that just motivated me to just keep going. It's like no longer will I have that question of, oh, is it because I said this? Or is it because, she found out something about me? Is it because her friend talked her out of it? Is it because of this and that and that? And then I just like, I wouldn't do this all the time, but every now and then, it's easy to go back to those things and be like, I wonder what happened with that girl. I wonder what I did wrong. I wonder what I could have done better. It just like haunts you. Because you're like, oh, what if I do that again? What if I mess it up again? And you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Hey, this is fun drawing houses. I like drawing houses. Maybe I'll get a house that looks like this one day. Sounds like a plan. In fact, I don't want it to go all the way off the edge of the screen. In fact, is this a full bleed panel? Yes, it is. So that means we can go ahead and do one of these things. All right. That's good. Chimney! Keenan the noob talks about relationships and how to get excited when you're rejected by a woman. That's what this will be called. And a draw TRON bike man. In fact, I want to talk to you guys especially about kind of the direction that I see the show going. Because lately I've been feeling a lot more like, I don't know, I've been getting like this feeling of, teaching art is one thing, and I love doing that. But I also want the show to be very personal as well. And every now and then I kind of go off onto these tangents about like life, and I talk about like, meditation and maintaining your mental state, because I feel like artists, we have very, very fragile emotional states, right? Because we're constantly expressing ourselves, with our work, with our passion. And naturally, when you do that, it's very, very easy to have strong emotions, right? You have to have strong emotions. And so I think another big part of having art as a lifestyle is managing those things. And I think it can be related to everybody, not just artists. But figuring out who you are and just learning about yourself and your emotions and about life, I think is a big, awesome thing. And again, I'm not like trying to become like a monk or anything and tell you how to live your life. But if you guys enjoy hearing about the experiences that happen with my life and kind of the ways that I read into them, please say either in the chat over here, or if you're watching this on YouTube, please say down below that you enjoy it. Or if you'd rather me just shut my trap, can that crap, and just keep drawing, you want everything to be happy on here, and just the comic, which is totally fine. Say like, hey, I'd rather you draw the comic. Again, I can take blunt opinions. Please tell me what you would like to see, because me personally, I like the way that it's heading a little bit more with life and everything, because especially now that I'm starting the business, it's like you're constantly bombarded with these feelings of, oh man, is this gonna work? And like there's all this uncertainty and all this risk that's happening as you start your own business. And I almost want to make a video account of this, because what I want to do ideally, like in the future when I look back on this, whether the business becomes successful or not, I feel like I'm just going to grow as a person from it, and I want to be able to look back on this and be like, whoa, that was awesome that I had that insight back then, and I want to be able to remember this. So that's another reason why I'm kind of talking about stuff. And I also have the journal now. So, um, yeah, just let me know what your guys' opinions on that are. And oh yeah, and the other thing is, yeah, like I said, I'm doing this for myself. I'm doing this for myself. I create the show for myself. I love teaching and I love affecting other people and maybe inspiring other people to take up art and improve their skills. But I'd also really like to. I love the fact that almost by proxy, people are affected by this. And if they can see how, just some regular kid who taught himself art and got into working professionally and then decided to quit to make his own business, and then someday, if he's doing well, you can go back and basically watch the transition. You can watch everything that happened. You can hear all the stories and the accounts, and not just with art, but with life and all the stuff that's happening. And I hope that people can look back on this and at least learn something from it. I have a feeling that that is going to be the case for me. I feel like I will look back on it and have some fond memories. Man, drawing this house is much harder than I thought it was going to be. Okay, in fact, am I drawing this right? Yeah, I am. I think these posts might be a little bit too far out, though. Uh-oh. Oh! Wait. Okay, we're good. We're good. Drawing 3D houses. Not the funnest thing in the world, but it must be done. But then, the other interesting thing is that I also had this feeling that, I just didn't want to give up. I didn't want to give up and be like, oh, okay, that's the way it is, She just doesn't like me. She doesn't love me. There was another part of me that was like, no, nobody dislikes me, And while that's a good mentality to have, I think, at least at this point in my life, I think it's a good mentality to have that for like other things, like say other goals that you have. I think it might be, because especially after being on the other side, I think that was what made me kind of restrain myself, is I knew that you just can't force people to like you. People are different than, cars or, something that you're going after, some other type of goal, some other type of material possession. The car has a price tag. And the woman, she's worth your time, does not have a price tag. So, yeah, that was kind of what made me restrain myself. It's like, no, you can't force people to like you. But it made me excited, and I was like, you know what? That just motivates me to just like do my thing, and then in the future, if I'm successful, maybe she'll look back and be like, dang, should have got with him while I had the chance. That would be awesome. Because I have had experiences like that. I actually have had some people have contacted me and said, I just wanted to tell you that you were great. You were great, and I'm sorry I didn't appreciate you more. And let me tell you, as good as you think that would feel, it was just okay. It was just okay, because I had already moved on. I had already become so much more. I had already like improved in my life in so many ways. And believe me, like I wanted that. I wanted that remark to come from that person saying, hey, I didn't appreciate you as I should have. Blah, blah, blah. You were great. I'm sorry. All this stuff. I wanted that at one point, but I never got it. And then finally, when I didn't need it, is when I got it. Finally, when I was okay by myself, is when that person contacted me and said, hey, I'm sorry I didn't appreciate you like I should have. And I was just like, wow, okay, cool, see ya. And I didn't even respond to it. It was just a message that they sent me. And I was just like, I don't even need this. I don't even need this anymore. I didn't even respond to it. I didn't see any need to. No need to say thank you or anything. It was just like, I almost felt like the best course of action would be to just be like, hey, it's resolved, and I'm just going to let this fade away. I'm going to let this fade away and go away forever. And And that, you know, so I've been on a lot of different sides, you know, as far as relationships and just interacting with people is concerned. And they're all very, very interesting places to be. And I think that's the best thing to do, is when things just kind of go weird, when things just kind of don't exactly go your way, I really like to say, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? You know, something just goes terribly wrong. Or you think some girl likes you and she ends up just not liking you. Not hating your guts, but just like bluntly saying she doesn't like you. All I say is, isn't that interesting? And I just think about that. And really, once you kind of face it, it's like, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. So, yeah, I hope that if any of you guys go through a similar situation, I hope that you don't take it as badly as that one girl did when I told her that, hey, I just don't have that for you. I just don't have that chemistry. You know, we've been dating. We went on a date, and I just didn't feel it. You know, hopefully you don't take it like she did and, like, start, like, attacking the person who said that and, like, questioning them, like, why? Why am I not good? And you start, like, trying to make them feel bad, guilt them into it. It's like, oh, yeah, you're right. I was being too hard. Yeah, you're right. Okay, I'll give you a shot. Yeah. I'll just force myself to pretend like I'm interested in you. You know? It's like, how dumb is that? How dumb is that? That's just silly talk. So, yeah, just understand that, you know, there's somebody out there for you. There's tons of people out there for you. Tons of more people than you could possibly imagine out there that would absolutely love you. And that just wasn't one of them. But there are people out there, and you got to keep looking for them. Got to keep looking for them. And then surprisingly, you'll meet them almost when you least expect it. But there's no shame, and, you know, sometimes when you get that feeling, you know, you see that girl and you want to talk to her, try working up the guts to go over there and actually say something. Sometimes you'll notice, and this has happened to me before too, I'll see a girl that I think is really attractive, I'll go over and I'll talk to her for just a couple minutes, and she ends up being very, like, defensive. Most people are kind of, like, weirded out when, like, some guy just comes and starts talking to them. But I'm just being myself and just being friendly and having fun with it. But there's a part where you can tell a lot about somebody. You can tell a lot about somebody by almost interacting with them for just a few seconds, you know? And it's funny that some of the girls that I thought would be, that I thought were very attractive when I go up and talk to them, end up being quite ugly. They end up being quite ugly with their personalities. They're very, very, I don't know, just like shut off. Very just kind of like, I don't know exactly what the word is. But probably nothing I could say on the stream, but you know what I'm saying. It's not very nice people. Not very excited, spontaneous, fun, open to new experience type of people, right? Which is the kind of people that I love to hang out with. I love people that just like to do stuff, right? Just go on adventures and just randomly take pleasure in the simple things and just like get excited about meeting somebody new. Somebody that you just meet randomly, whether you're like in an art class making pottery or you're, I don't know, like eating sandwiches at Subway. I don't know. Sometimes you can just randomly meet people. And I think it's cool that, I always find it interesting that, you know, society nowadays is, I think that doing the show has made me a lot more gutsy for sure, just being able to talk. I think it's interesting that it's so weird for one human to go up and talk to another one. It bothers me, but it also kind of interests me a little bit too. And I kind of like it, you know. Again, I don't like to think negatively of things, but I just say, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting that people are afraid to talk to each other? They're afraid to trust. Which is understanding. I mean, there's plenty of people out there that will act all friendly when they're really trying to, you know, sometimes they will try to screw you over. But why assume that? Why assume that? Why not just have a little bit of fun? Have a little bit of fun, why don't you? That's probably the problem. I'm not talking like that. Why don't you come with me and have a little bit of fun? Yes, yes. If I talk like that, that would be called putting on a shtick. And you don't want to do that either. You don't want to act like somebody or something. You want to just be yourself. Be your best self and let it shine through. Okay, so I'm really liking this house. This is making me really happy. And with that, we are going to move into question catapult. So please cast your questions over the castle walls. And I will answer them. Okay? As I do that, I'm going to draw this little water pump down here because we got to get that done. Actually, it turned out pretty good. I like that house. That house is good. That house is very good. Very good. Let's see. After you get maced as a rejection, others won't feel as bad. Oh my gosh, does that actually happen to you? Does that happen to you? I'm not going to say your name because I don't want to embarrass you. Keenan is a heartbreaker, dream maker, love taker. I like it. I like it. The Lafferty Gospels. You guys are cute. Over here, starting chants. All right. It doesn't look like you guys are asking any questions right now. So I'm just going to casually go over here and finish this water pump while we have 2 minutes left. If nobody asks questions, then we're just going to sign right off. In fact, I'm curious how many people actually watched the stream today. Because I could still go back. I could still go back and not post this to YouTube. Nobody would know. Nobody would be the wiser. But I think I'm going to. I think I need to. There's a part of me that wants to. Just feels right. Go with my gut. Sweet. Kilner is asking, do I have a wasp nest on my ceiling? No. Luckily, no. I checked almost every conceivable spot. They were all right there on that wall. They were all clustered together. It was really weird. They were all just together, right there on the wall. And I have no idea where they came from. There's none anywhere else except for that one that was crawling on me later. That was freaky. That'd been scary if that happened on stream. I probably would have screamed like a girl, and you guys would have all laughed at me. Instant fame, instant B fame. All right. Oh, good questions coming in. Coming in from Killnerve. Once again, he's asking, how do you find good inspirational videos on YouTube? All right, Killnerve, I will give you the names to look up. Some of the best videos that I found, specifically with starting businesses, you're going to be looking at Jim Rohn, which is Jimrohn. An awesome guy. He's an older guy. He's now passed away, but he did some really, really awesome talks in the 80s. And he talks a lot about business, but he also talks about the journal thing, talking about journals, recording really good ideas, documenting your life, writing down, your feelings when some girl just bluntly smacks you in the face and says, I don't like you. And things like that, right? Those are all good things to take note of and then refer to later on. You don't want to lose those things. Those are tidbits. Those are also diamonds in the rough. Remember, we talk about sometimes the things that are perceived as negative are actually the best things that will make you grow in life because they are diamonds in the rough. They will motivate you. They'll motivate you and they'll push you forward if you allow them to. Or you can allow them also to break you down. You can allow yourself to go into a state of self-pity and be like, oh, I can't believe I let this happen to me. I can't believe I thought about it for so long and I thought this and that, and tell all your friends and nobody really cares about what you're saying, but you tell them anyway and they act like they care, which is all well and good. But yeah, don't let those things break you down. Don't let negative experiences break you down. Let them build you. All negative experiences can build you if you let them. If you take them by the, about to say something bad, take them by the horns and make them into positive things. Make them. And they're actually not that hard. You just got to step outside and kind of look at yourself from the outside. Be like, okay, what really happened here? What really happened? And just admit to it. And then from there, you can commence improvement. All right. Oh, Jim Rohn is business. Tony Robbins is awesome. He's like the big, rah-rah motivational guy. Everybody likes him. And in fact, he's not really that cheesy. He also talks about business and life and stuff. Tony Robbins and Jim Rohn actually worked together when Jim Rohn was alive. And he's kind of like following in his footsteps. So Tony Robbins is awesome. What's interesting is as you start watching those videos, you'll start getting like recommendations. I really like how YouTube is doing this now. You'll start getting recommendations of other like audio books and other like motivational speaking things that talk about life or financial stuff and business. And those things also really, really help. Like if you're at a job where you're at the computer, or even put it on your iPod when you're running or doing something. Me, it's easy because I'm working on the comic all day and I can just put it on YouTube and listen to it. And it's really, really nice. It's interesting because listening to something, it's constantly interrupting like the normal signals that go through your brain, the normal worries of like, how the heck am I going to survive? And what if this all goes wrong? And blah, blah, blah. And instead it replaces those thoughts with positive things, with things that make you think. It's not ignorantly positive things like, oh, it's going to work, it's going to work, it's going to work. And you just keep saying that while it's going terribly wrong. It's like it puts ideas in your mind. That way you can be like, okay, I have confidence this is going to work. This is going terribly, but oh, I just got an idea how I can fix that, right? So, final question, and then we end day 29 of the KNKL EMMA stream. Also, I've been going overtime quite a bit, and I want to kind of stop doing that. I need to stick to my schedule. I need to do that. All right. Let's see here. Oh, actually, that looks like that was the last question coming in for today. So thank you guys once again for joining me once again live on YouTube. People on YouTube, or joining me live on Ustream, people on YouTube, thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't. My name is Kienan Lafferty. I'll see you guys tomorrow for some awesome, we're going to continue drawing tiny little ants that represent our motorcycle squad, and then we'll move on to page 2 of EMMA issue 2. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. You guys take care.